Good evening. The Section 194 committee has recommended that suspended Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane be removed from office. It found there were grounds to sustain charges of misconduct and incompetence against her. Mkhwebane will have a chance to respond to the draft report, after which the committee will compile its final report and make recommendations to the National Assembly. For more on this, we are now joined by suspended Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, and she joins us via our video link. Advocate, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Of course, we have seen the news coming out today. Maybe let's start off with your reaction to the recommendations by that Section 194 report, the draft report, saying that, you ultimately need to be removed from office.
Good evening, Bali. Good evening to the listeners of SABC. Thank you so much for affording me this opportunity. Bali, my reaction is that it's so surprising that the committee will go ahead and deliberate today, knowing very well that my attorneys of record have withdrawn on the 3rd of August. A letter was written to the chairperson after the chairperson even failed to recuse himself due to corruption and extortion allegations. And the committee ended up even endorsing that. I still don't have legal representation. And that process was caused by the decision of the acting public protector, Advocate Galeka, who withdrew funding at the end of March 2023. And since then, I've been struggling to have an attorney. And I wrote a letter to Mr. Janji. I issued a statement now where I also explained to him that the attorneys have withdrawn. I have approached the state attorneys, even though I know they are conflicted in the matter, to assist and approach the Public Protector South Africa so that they can give me the list of the panel of attorneys, which they gave me yesterday, and I'm still considering and checking which attorneys I can approach to assist me.
And Advocate, of course, you have been at pains with this entire process. I mean, you are mentioning, the issues of the funding. You're also mentioning the issues of your legal representation. When it comes to you also challenging the issue of the committee chairperson recusing himself, with this entire process, what do you make of it? We know that it has been a very long process, and there's been a lot of back and forth and issues with your legal representation. What do you make of this entire process now that we find ourselves here with a draft report that goes to Parliament?
That draft, in fact, it can't even go to Parliament. Remember, they said they must send me that report. And that report must still be checked by my attorneys and the legal representation of my choice. What I could say, Mbali, is that it's concerning that the issue of recusal or refusing to recuse himself or by the chairperson and Mr. Milham, that process, that matter is still going to be taken to, in fact, is taken to the SCA. Now, this recent refusal to recuse himself as well will have to be taken to court, and they behave as if possibly they know as well that possibly the court will just rubber stamp or will go with whatever they have decided. But I mean, due process must be followed. There's a lot of illegalities in this process, Mbali. And I think whatever decision they've taken, whatever questions they've asked, I never had attorneys. And I think you remember even the late Dina Jumat Peterson mentioned that already they've decided to change the process. They are even under pressure. There's a project manager who would make sure that this matter is dealt with expediently. So, and as well, it was an outcome which they've already taken. And what's concerning is that the ANC, as the majority party, just rubber stamping or going ahead with the the motion of the DA, which is was even totally against my appointment. And I mean, just following up on dealing with me, and just for charges which are, have no basis, and using the judgments which are relating to only 4 judgments.
Yeah.
And remember, Mali, I'm still on the stand. I was still testifying.
Yeah.
That report, they are saying they've decided to remove me. And I only dealt with 2 charges relating to Busasa and the so-called rogue unit. I'm still testifying, issue a free day, issue a reserve bank, and the issue of the human resource related complaints.
And Advocate, I mean, you are saying that you still need to respond, to 2 of those matters before the committee. At the same time, you touched a bit on that draft report. Before it goes to Parliament, you need to first respond. Do you plan on responding now that you are in a process of finding an attorney?
As soon as I identify an attorney who should brief counsel, definitely we will have to. How do I even respond to that, Mbali? Because we haven't reached that point. The fact of the matter is that I'm still under oath with oral testimony, and I never agreed to the written responses, responding to questions in writing, when all other 28 witnesses were given an opportunity to conduct their testimonies orally. So, but for now, let me get an attorney. And in South Africa, an attorney is the one who should be briefing counsel. It's not me who should be briefing a counsel. And what's even worse is that, the very same counsellor should be briefing, which in the past, Mr. Janji said the attorney Chane must just consult with them, so that the council should brief and work with Chane to understand the work. The very same council also has other matters to deal with. And I don't know whether he might also continue and say, I'm still available to assist you.
Yeah, and Advocate, of course, we know that there needs to be a 2/3 majority in Parliament, and you touched on the fact that the ANC seems to be siding here with this report, which was brought before this committee by this complaint brought before this committee by the DA. Should you ultimately be removed from office, and you are saying that the process of how this was dealt with was unfair towards you, do you plan on taking legal action?
That's the only recourse I have in South Africa. What else should I do? And if this process is followed, which is illegal, unlawful, people who have extorted money from me, determining my fate, and the husband to the complainant, what else should I do? The courts are only there for me as the last resort. Indeed, I will have to take it on review.
Advocate, thank you so much for your time and your response on this issue. That is a suspended public protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, saying that should she ultimately be removed from her position, she will indeed be taking legal action.